Chapter 71 The Super Holy Medicine that only the Immortal Emperor can possess. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Everyone got hyped up hearing about the Lingji Garden. If the medicine refining pavilion was that top-notch, the Lingji Garden had to be even better. The 3,000 alchemists following along were buzzing with excitement, totally losing it. I'm gonna kill it in Kunlun Holy Land, even if I'm up all night brewing elixirs. If I can just get some tips from the Lingdan Pavilion Master, I'll be set for life. Dude, 1,000 fairy-level alchemy furnaces. I gotta get my hands on one. Man, we timed this trip to Kunlun Holy Land perfectly. Good thing the sect leader brought us back. Where else would we find a sweet setup like this? Seriously. I think it's even cooler than the Holy Land of Divine Pills, that they were all pumped. Everything about Kunlun Holy Land was blowing their minds, showing them that Kunlun was the real alchemy powerhouse. The four immortal lords walking in front could clearly hear everyone's whispers, hearing that they weren't even impressed by the Holy Land of Divine Pills anymore. The four felt a little pang of jealousy, but they couldn't deny it. Those guys had a point. Hell, the four of them were already loving it here, looking forward to their new lives in Kunlun Holy Land. Soon, they arrived at the Lingji Garden. As soon as they stepped inside, everyone was floored by the insane aura of the place. The spiritual energy in Kunlun Holy Land was already crazy strong, but the spiritual plant garden was on a whole other level, like several times stronger. With an environment like this, it'd be a crime if all the elixirs and herbs didn't thrive. Before Li Yao could even start introducing, Immortal Jingyu spotted the red soil in the spiritual plant garden. In amazement, he knelt down and grabbed a handful, instantly feeling the vibrant energy pulsing through it. It's red blood immortal soil. The best spiritual soil, perfect for growing any kind of elixir or herb. Immortal Jingyu exclaimed. The others crowded around, craning their necks to get a look. A bunch of them copied him, inspecting the soil themselves. Being alchemists, they knew their stuff when it came to growing spiritual plants. They'd all heard of red blood immortal soil, but never seen this prized material in person. And now, the whole vast spiritual plant garden was covered in it. This time, Xiaoye jumped in, taking over the narration with a smug grin. As you can see, the entire spiritual plant garden is made of red blood immortal soil, stretching over 1,000,000 acres. Seeing the shocked looks on their faces, Xiaoye was loving it. She was blown away before, now it was her turn to watch everyone else lose their minds. 1,000,000 acres? How much did that cost? You can't just buy this stuff. Even if you had the money, you couldn't buy that much. 1,000,000 acres of red-blooded fairy land? I'm betting the sect leader snatched it up raiding some entire wild fairy world. Totally. I mean, our sect leader's got a hand in everything. The whole wild immortal world is basically his backyard. What's anyone gonna do about it? This is insane. With 1,000,000 acres of red blood immortal soil, we can grow whatever we want. And with the crazy spiritual energy in Kunlun Holy Land, the spiritual plants are way better than anything you'd find anywhere else. That everyone was stoked. The sect leader just kept pulling miracles out of his hat. Even though they were new, their respect and admiration for him was already through the roof. Whoa, there's a ton of Danyang vermilion fruits planted here. And soul infant fruits and dragon scale fruits. Is that a snow lotus? And Buddha heart fruit, thunder flower, golden ginseng, phoenix grass, all the good stuff. It's not just the quantity, but the quality too. Every elixir is at least 10 times better than anything you'd find outside. So one plant's as good as 10 from anywhere else. It's all top-shelf stuff. This is an alchemist's dream. These alchemists were practically drooling. Finding medicinal ingredients this good was like finding the perfect woman. Who could resist? One of them, his voice trembling with excitement, asked, so, can we just pick stuff whenever we need it for making medicine? Li Yao and Xiaoye hesitated, not wanting to say they could just grab whatever they wanted. Just as they were figuring out how to answer, a ghostly figure drifted out from the depths of the spiritual plant garden. Just like Ling Dan earlier, nobody saw him coming. By the time he was standing in front of them, they realized he was there, but after being spooked by Ling Dan, they got over it pretty quick. I'm the master of the Lingji garden, Ling Sen. The sect leader told me to guard the place, and I'm in charge of everything here now. Ling Sen said in a cold voice. Nice to meet you, Senior Ling Sen. That they all bowed respectfully, they were getting used to it. If the sect leader personally put him in charge of an important place, he must be a big shot with serious power. Ling Sen glanced at them and warned, the spiritual planting garden has its rules. Only the sect leader can just take whatever he wants. If you need something, you have to ask first. I'll go over the procedures with Li Yao later. Li Yao was called out, and while he was pleased, he also got nervous and stepped forward to agree. For a sect to work right, it needs rules. Now that Kunlun Holy Land was growing, the rules would get more detailed. It might be a hassle, but it would actually help the sect grow. When everyone heard Ling Sen's words, they were a bit bummed, but they understood. Even a place like Divine Pill Holy Land didn't let people just grab whatever treasures they wanted, otherwise, no matter how many treasures there were, they'd be wasted, and nobody would appreciate them. Just then, Immortal Jingyu saw a flash of purple gold deep in the spiritual plant garden, looking like a tiny real dragon. He nudged Immortal Lord Huangxian next to him and asked, Hey, is that a true dragon elixir in that corner? Everyone was shocked to hear about the true dragon elixir and quickly looked in that direction, holding their breath. Sure enough, they saw a small purple gold dragon leaping around, with a plant stem sticking out of its head. What else could it be but the legendary true dragon elixir? Whoa, it really is a true dragon elixir. Immortal Lord Huangxian and the others were so shocked they sucked in a breath of cold air. This was one of the most prized medicinal ingredients in the world, a super holy medicine that only an immortal emperor could get their hands on. Even the immortal lords had only seen it once and never gotten close. This level of holy medicine was out of their reach. They needed to be at least an immortal king. But it wasn't surprising that Kunlun Holy Land had a true dragon elixir. Gulp. Immortal Lord Huangxian swallowed hard and sighed, a true dragon elixir, that's serious business. Ling Sen glanced at him and said calmly, who said there's only one? Everyone looked at him, confused, not understanding what he meant. Are there two? Immortal Lord Huangxian asked, surprised. The people behind them gasped again, 2 plants. That was insane. Ling Sen shook his head, looked deep into the spiritual plant garden, and said casually, there are 100 in total. Chapter 72 The Sword-Shaped Golden Elixir and the Mystery of the Supreme Sword Bone. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When he dropped that bombshell, the place went dead silent. Everyone except Li Yao and Xiaoya froze like statues, completely stunned. The news of 100 true dragon elixirs hit them so hard, their brains couldn't process it fast enough. For ordinary alchemists, the true dragon immortal medicine is legendary, the holy grail of elixirs, fit for an immortal emperor. Even immortal lords and immortal kings rarely see them. Only top-tier powerhouses born in holy lands, with their deep knowledge and sheer luck, might stumble upon one, but 100 true dragon elixirs. Could that even be real? As if on cue, the true dragon elixirs hidden deep within the spiritual plant garden began to emerge, playfully darting about. Purple gold dragons, each with a touch of green on their heads, were frolicking together. There were so many it was unbelievable. Everyone's eyes were bugging out. At that point, the exact number didn't even matter. The sheer number of true dragon elixirs was proof enough of what Ling Sen had said. It's true. They're all real true dragon elixirs. So many. Is this a freaking wholesale market? Or am I dreaming? I'm losing it. I may not be worthy to touch them, but just to see them from afar makes my life complete. Mom, I'm going places. I'm actually seeing this many true dragon elixirs with my own eyes. The alchemists were going nuts. Many were pulling their hair out, unable to believe what they were seeing. Others were slapping themselves, thinking they were dreaming, but their faces were just getting red and the scene wasn't going away. Li Yao and Xiaoya watched the madness unfold, thoroughly amused. Turns out, watching people freak out is pretty entertaining. Okay, everyone, this is a taste of what our alchemists will be learning about. The Kunlun Holy Land is vast and full of wonders. We'll explore them together in the days to come. After about half an hour, when everyone had mostly calmed down, Li Yao announced the end of the day's activities. Next up, getting everyone settled in and starting the actual alchemy work. Now, not a single one of them wanted to leave the Kunlun Holy Land. Each and every one was practically begging to be considered a member. Even the 4 immortal lords, if Ye Chen held a knife to their throats and told them to leave, they wouldn't budge. In the blink of an eye, several days had passed. Inside the palace of the god of war, Su Jian, shirtless, wielded a green-edged sword, battling a powerful foe. It's worth noting that Su Jian had reached the peak of the foundation building stage and was just one step away from the golden core stage. He had made such rapid progress not only because he was naturally gifted but also because he had adapted his skills, plus, he had access to all sorts of resources from the sect. Of course, the God of War Palace and the Chaos Realm could slow down time, giving him even more time to learn and practice. On the surface, he had only been training for a short time, but in reality, he had been grinding it out for 2 or 3 years. He could have broken through even faster, reaching at least the 4th or 5th level of the golden core stage if he hadn't been holding himself back. But he knew that rushing things was never a good idea, and sometimes, blindly pushing for a higher level wasn't the best course of action, so, he was waiting for the perfect moment. When all his energy was compressed to the max, his breakthrough to the golden core stage would be all the more powerful. At that moment, his opponent in the God of War Palace was a powerful golden core stage, level 4 expert. After a fierce battle, Su Jian, at the peak of the foundation building stage, finally beheaded his opponent and won. Phew! Su Jian took a deep breath, feeling his understanding of the way of the sword had deepened. The eternal sword way Master gave me is truly an emperor-level technique. The more I practice, the more I appreciate its profoundness. And it's a natural fit for my supreme sword bone. Su Jian sighed. Without his master's help, he'd probably still be playing in the dirt somewhere. Just then, Su Jian felt the level he had been suppressing start to loosen. Can't hold it back anymore. Then let's go golden core stage, here I come. Su Jian left the Ares palace, sat cross-legged outside, and began to use the eternal sword way to break through. Whoosh! Instantly, all the energy between heaven and earth was sucked in, forming a vortex around him, continuously pouring into the top of his head. At the same time, incredibly sharp sword energy burst from his body. The place seemed to have transformed into a realm of swords. After a long period of transformation, a sword-shaped golden core formed within him, radiating an intensely sharp aura. His whole body felt like a peerless sword, especially his spine, which emitted bright sword light, tearing apart the world. That was the raw power of the supreme sword bone. Feeling the surging power within him, Su Jian was ecstatic. He had finally reached the golden core stage. Compared to the foundation building period, he felt limitless. After mastering his newfound power, Su Jian's first thought was to share the good news with his master and let him know he hadn't let him down. Just as he stood up to head to the main hall, Ye Chen's voice echoed in his mind. My disciple, well done. I knew I could count on you. I also know what you want to do. Go ahead and follow your heart. Remember, the entire Kunlun Holy Land has your back. As Ye Chen's voice faded, a small golden sword appeared out of thin air, floating before Su Jian. Su Jian grabbed it, thrilled. He knew this was a treasure his master had given him. He clenched his fist, buzzing with excitement. As expected of his master, he knew the situation. Even more incredible, he seemed to know everything that was on his mind. Su Jian bowed towards the sky and said loudly, Thank you, Master, for your guidance. Without you, I wouldn't be where I am today. I'm heading down the mountain today. When I'm done, I'll return immediately to continue training and strive to become a valuable asset to the sect. With that, Su Jian strode down the mountain. He planned to do something significant, something that would finally put an end to his lingering obsession. In the sky above, a translucent figure followed closely behind. It was Zhang Laosi, an outer sect elder, secretly protecting Su Jian on the sect master's orders. Of course, with the small sword Ye Chen had given him to protect him, Su Jian wasn't really in any danger. Chapter 73 Breakthroughs. One after another, the disciples are all geniuses. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ye Chen knew Su Jian wouldn't rest until his parents' murder was avenged. When Ye Chen took Su Jian as his disciple, Su Jian was already an orphan. Ye Chen didn't immediately send him on a revenge quest. Instead, he waited until Su Jian had mastered his skills, so he could take revenge himself. Now that Su Jian had reached the golden elixir realm, Ye Chen knew he'd be itching to leave the mountain, and he was right. Just then, a system notification popped up. Ding. Random mission triggered. Disciple Su Jian embarks on revenge. Rewards based on completion. Seeing the prompt, Ye Chen wasn't worried. He was confident Su Jian would ace the mission. All he had to do was wait for the reward. Life in Kunlun Holy Land was running like clockwork. The medicine refining pavilion was churning out top-notch elixirs daily, and his direct disciples were making serious progress. Mu Yan wasn't much of a fighter, so he spent all his time in the chaos realm, getting to grips with the law of fire. He wasn't even trying that hard, but his power was leveling up as if by itself. He'd already gone from Golden Core Stage level 6 to the peak of the Golden Core Stage. A flame mark blazed between his eyebrows, radiating pure power. Mu Yan opened his eyes, feeling like he'd maxed out his understanding of fire. He was like a bottle that needed to be bigger to hold more water. Time for a breakthrough. With that thought, he teleported out of the chaos realm back in the outside world. The insane spiritual energy of Kunlun Holy Land rushed at him. He didn't even have to work at it. The energy dove into him, beefing up his power. That's the beauty of Kunlun Holy Land. Spiritual energy is everywhere. If you need to level up, just find a spot and get to it. No need for elaborate preparations. Flames erupted from Mu Yan's body, engulfing him in a huge fireball. He went straight for the fire god technique, an emperor-level skill, pulling in even more spiritual energy to bust through his limits. Boom! A low rumble echoed from inside him. As he broke through, his aura intensified. Nascent soul first level. Nascent soul second level. Nascent soul third level. Nascent soul fourth level. His power kept skyrocketing, like a volcano about to blow. Endless flames roared from him, threatening to turn the whole area into an inferno. If that fire spread unchecked, it would cause serious damage. But just as the flames seemed ready to explode, Mu Yan, already floating in the air, took a deep breath. The flames swirled back into his body. In the end, only the flame mark on his brow glowed gold, radiating a faint, awesome power. Feeling the surge of power, Mu Yan frowned a little. Only nascent soul stage level 4. I thought I could hit level 5 in one go. Too bad. He sighed. His understanding of the rules of fire was so advanced that he could break through any time. Thanks to his experience, all he needed was a dose of spiritual energy to move up a level. Anyone else would have been floored by his progress. For most people, the jump from golden elixir stage to nascent soul stage is a major hurdle. Some spend their entire lives stuck there, others pay a fortune to finally reach the nascent soul stage, but Mu Yan just waltzed right in and shot up to level 4. Any sect would be drooling over him. And he's still not happy. Unbelievable. I wonder how Yingluo's doing. Thinking of Yingluo, Mu Yan smiled. Like Mu Yan, Yingluo often spent half a year in the chaos realm, getting to know the lay of the land. She has a supreme immortal body, emperor-level talent, and a natural, ethereal fairy energy. She has a sixth sense for the rules of the great Tao. Right now, she was in the chaos realm, bathed in a hazy, mystical light, as if she were already a fairy. She felt like she'd reached her limit, and more time in the chaos realm would be a waste, so, she left too. Like Mu Yan, she stepped out into a torrent of spiritual energy, which flowed into her and became part of her power. Fairy light shimmered, and the Tao became clear. Lotuses bloomed under Yingluo's feet, and signs appeared around her. Creatures bowed down, ethereal music played, and light rain fell. She rocketed from Golden Core Stage Level 2 to the peak of the Golden Core Stage, just a hair's breadth from the Nascent Soul Stage. She could jump to the Nascent Soul Stage whenever she wanted. But Guing Luo wasn't one to rush things or get carried away with success. She kept her head and decided to wait for the perfect moment to make the leap. From a distance, Mu Yen saw Yingluo's progress and clapped. "Not bad, Yingluo. You've hit the peak of the Golden Core Stage." Hearing his voice, Gu Yingluo looked over, ready to brag. But when she felt the pressure radiating from him, she pouted. "You're already Nascent Soul." "I'm not." Gu Yingluo crossed her arms, waiting for Mu Yen to cheer her up. Mu Yen corrected her, "Actually, it's not just Nascent Soul. It's Nascent Soul, 4th level." "Ugh." Gu Yingluo glared at him and turned away. "Hey. What's wrong?" Mu Yen looked confused. He was just stating facts. Why was she mad? He had no choice but to follow her. Elsewhere in Kunlun Holy Land, twin sisters Ye Chen and Ziyu were deep in training. Ye Chen was born with a fairy spirit body, which Ye Chen had upgraded to an emperor-level fairy spirit body. The fairy spirit holy body is similar to Gu Yingluo's supreme immortal body. It's a natural connection to immortality, destined for greatness. The little guy has lived up to the hype. He's gone from foundation building level 5 to level 8. His sister, Ziyu, was born with a holy light body, which Ye Chen upgraded to an emperor-level body of endless light. She was like the only source of light in the world. Endless holy light poured from her, dazzling. She's also jumped from foundation building level 4 to level 7. That's progress. If Ziwei Holy Land knew, they'd probably be kicking themselves. These are 2 top-tier prospects. But Elder Lei wrote them off, stripped them of their bodies, and tried to transplant them. If it had worked, maybe it would have been worth it. But it failed. While everything was going great in Kunlun Holy Land, Ziwei Holy Land in central China was in an uproar. Chapter 74. The 3 holy places gather together, a rare encounter in a million years. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The day Ye Chen took out Elder Lei and Elder Zhou, Ziwei Holy Land got the news, and they were pissed. Those guys were high-ranking elders, important figures, and represented the face of Ziwei Holy Land, so this guy offs them in central China. That's like slapping the entire Ziwei Holy Land in the face. They immediately pulled every string they had to hunt him down, find him, and waste him. Unfortunately, days went by. They turned the place upside down, but nothing. No sign of Ye Chen. Then, other stuff started leaking. Right now, 3 things are blowing people's minds in central China more than anything else. First, word's out that some hotshot barged into the alchemist conference over at Divine Pill Holy Land. Not only did this guy cause a scene, but he also straight up took a bunch of alchemists, and get this, the Holy Land didn't even put up a fight. When this story hit the streets, it was pandemonium. Nobody believed it, thought it was just some tall tale. I mean, come on, that's Divine Pill Holy Land. How could they get pushed around like that? You sure about this? Real or fake? Someone just waltzes into a holy land, and people get kidnapped. Who's got the guts? It's legit. My sister-in-law's husband's side piece was at that alchemist conference. Saw it with her own eyes, spilled the beans to her lover when she got back. So, how do you know? I am her lover. This kind of talk was everywhere, and at first everyone thought it was bogus, but then more and more alchemists who were at the conference started leaving the Divine Pill Holy Land, all saying the same thing. No way, that's a coincidence. Nobody's gonna badmouth Divine Pill Holy Land, and you can't fake that kind of story on that scale. So a real storm blew through central China. Rumors about some tough guy breaking into the Holy Land were flying. And the details kept coming. I was brewing medicine, and this white-clad dude just shows up out of nowhere, and lays a smackdown on some holy masters who were guests. You ain't gonna believe it, but Holy Lord level cats couldn't even touch this guy. That's nothing. He snatched their Kirin amethyst flame. The craziest part? It got one of the Divine Pill Holy Land's ancestors all worked up. We figured the ancestor would turn the tide, but nope, he folded before even throwing a punch. Scary stuff. They straight up nabbed a bunch of alchemists. Lucky for me, they didn't grab me, or I'd be living in hell right now. I feel bad for those alchemists. Bet half of them are already pushing up daisies. These big shots who were at the conference started stepping up and giving their side of the story. Every little detail sent shockwaves. Who was this mysterious tough guy? Why was he acting so cocky? Even the Holy Land's ancestors couldn't mess with him. This was the first time Divine Pill Holy Land had ever been punked like this, ever. Besides the Divine Pill Holy Land drama, the deaths of the two Ziwei Holy Land elders was all anyone could talk about. In central China, those two elders were basically untouchable. Only other Holy Land big shots would dare mess with them, cause they were Ziwei Holy Land. But some mysterious tough guy took them out. A lot of monks who saw it happen were still shaking in their boots just thinking about that giant handprint hanging over their heads. This mysterious tough guy appeared out of thin air on Holy Mountain at the beginning of Yuan dynasty, and he wasn't even affected by the ominous aura. He rescued two little girls and yanked that holy fruit tree right out of the ground. Elder Lei and Elder Zhou. They were just a speed bump for him. I bet he could wipe us all out with one hand, he just couldn't be bothered. Everyone had their eye on that holy fruit tree he had and were thinking about stealing it. I was too, but luckily I didn't go for it, or I'd be dead. This guy pisses off Ziwei Holy Land, and he's a young guy in white. You think the two things were done by the same person? Probably. But who's got the balls to mess with two holy lands at the same time? Got a death wish? The story kept snowballing, and a lot of people started believing that the Divine Pill Holy Land kidnapping and the Ziwei Holy Land elder killings were all the work of the same person, one guy, stirring up trouble across the whole of central China. And the kicker? It's been weeks, and the two holy lands haven't done anything about it. Gotta hand it to this mysterious dude, he's really played them for fools, but some people were saying that the white-clad young man was just getting cocky for a bit. They said that his luck would run out and that they would catch him. The two holy lands will never let him get away with this. While all this was happening, a bunch of bigwigs were meeting in the main hall of Divine Pill Holy Land, and the atmosphere was tense. The guy sitting in the big chair was Ancestor Wuhan of Divine Pill Holy Land. Of course, on either side of him stood the Holy Master of Divine Pills and a bunch of high-ranking elders. Down below on the left was a row of Ziwei Holy Land heavy hitters, led by Holy Lord Ziwei himself. On the right was someone from Luoyue Holy Land, none other than Immortal Siming, who was famous for his deductions. Immortal Siming had been trying to figure this whole thing out, but hadn't made any progress. He got word that some tough guy claiming to be from Kunlun Holy Land barged into Divine Pill Holy Land and took people. Immortal Lord Siming was pretty sure that this was the same guy who kidnapped his Holy Lord. So he rushed over to Divine Pill Holy Land in central China to try and find more clues. Senior Wuhan, that white-clad punk offed two of my elders, and this ain't gonna slide. I say our two sects team up and hunt down this killer. Holy Lord Ziwei was boiling with rage. They were supposed to be the bullies, not the bullied. If the two holy lands work together, I bet they won't let him get away. Ancestor Wuhan frowned, but didn't agree right away. He said, "We need to talk about this more." Then he looked at Immortal Siming, confused, and asked, "Immortal Siming, what brings you all the way out here?" Luoyue Holy Land was way out in Dongxing continent, a long way from central China. I mean, sure, an immortal lord can tear through the void and get around, but it still takes a long time to get from Dongxing continent to central China. The great world of Huangxian is enormous. Not even immortal emperors can say they've seen it all. Everyone in the hall turned to Immortal Siming, curious about why he was here. Chapter 75 The Bloody Revenge begins. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Immortal Lord Siming, used to being watched, still felt a little self-conscious under everyone's scrutiny. Only a few people within Luoyue Holy Land knew Holy Lord Luoyue had been snatched. Most of the elders and disciples were in the dark. Seriously? he was still gonna spill the beans like that. After a dramatic pause, Immortal Simon announced, recently, our Holy Lord was abducted by a mysterious figure tied to Kunlun Holy Land. I suspect it's the same hotshot in white who's been making waves lately. A wave of shock rippled through the room. Holy Lord Luoyue, kidnapped asterisk. How the heck did that even happen? She's a holy lord, for crying out loud. For a holy place, getting your holy lord snatched like that was a major embarrassment. Oh, really? Spill the tea. What exactly happened? Ancestor Wuhan perked up. Raiding a holy land? Something about that felt weirdly familiar, so, Immortal Simon laid out the whole story. The listeners exchanged glances, a collective weight, seriously, forming in their expressions. Based on that whole thug life vibe, it had to be the same guy. Kunlun Holy Land. Never heard of them. What kind of outfit is that? Holy Lord Shindan looked like he was about to pop a blood vessel, his face a mask of rage at the mere mention of the guy in white. He'd been publicly humiliated by Ye Chen and robbed of the Kirin Amethyst Flame, his Holy Lord badge. Talk about adding insult to injury. Hearing that Holy Lord Luoyue had been snatched offered some small consolation, at least he was still in one piece. For now. They must be a hidden power. Their roots must run deep because my deductions are worthless. I can't find a single lead. That even Immortal Simon, usually so calm, sounded frustrated and helpless. Everyone was surprised. Simon Xianjun was the best when it came to divining secrets, so if he was stumped, who the heck were these guys? Ancestor Wuhan nodded silently, unsurprised. After all, that person was someone he was scared of. Trying to play the blame game with an Immortal Emperor. Yeah, good luck with that. Best option. We team up and hunt them down, keep it on the DL, Holy Lord Ziwei said, icily. Now 3 holy lands had been hit. This kind of thing just didn't happen. Ticking off 1 holy land was practically suicide. But 3? The entire desolate immortal world would be out for blood. With Holy Lord Ziwei's suggestion hanging in the air, all eyes locked onto Ancestor Wuhan. He was the most senior, the most powerful one there. And let's not forget, Divine Pill Holy Land took the biggest hit. 4 immortal alchemists and 3,000 genius alchemists vanished. Was Divine Pill Holy Land really gonna let that slide? Everyone figured that after Luoyue Holy Land and Ziwei Holy Land threw their hats in the ring, Divine Pill Holy Land would go on the warpath, but Ancestor Wuhan remained silent. Clearly, he had reservations. Senior Wuhan, do we really need to think about this? Immortal Simon sounded bewildered. Things were spiraling out of control. Why not just crush Kunlun Holy Land? A wave of restlessness filled the room. Why was Ancestor Wuhan dragging his feet? Wasn't 3 holy lands enough firepower? They could steamroll Kunlun Holy Land without breaking a sweat. Just as the murmuring reached a crescendo, Ancestor Wuhan's eyes flashed with cold light. An invisible pressure descended, filling the hall with a sense of impending doom. Suddenly, everyone fell silent. Ancestor Wuhan dropped a bombshell. That young man in white is an immortal emperor. That the words hit the room like a bomb. The silence became absolute, so profound you could hear a pin drop. Immortal Emperor. 2 words carrying maximum weight. They represented the pinnacle of power in that world, the ultimate limit, invincibility itself. On the surface, immortal emperors were a thing of the past. They hadn't walked the desolate immortal world in ages. How many of those ancient emperors were even left? Nobody knew. If that young man in white was truly an immortal emperor, he'd be the first to show his face in centuries. Sure, the Holy Lands were powerful and loaded with ancient treasures, even a few imperial-grade weapons, but so what? That didn't stack up against a real immortal emperor. Starting a feud with one was like painting a giant target on your back. Even a holy land could face crushing suppression, with entire lineages wiped out. Holy Lord Ziwei and the others were suddenly very calm, their earlier anger and bluster gone. Facing a real immortal emperor, getting cocky was a bad idea. Immortal Lord Siming's face cleared. Since he was an immortal emperor, it made sense why he couldn't deduce anything about him. Everyone's behavior took a sharp turn for the better. You get what I'm saying? We can't afford to make an enemy of an immortal emperor. About Kunlun Holy Land, we need to figure out what's really going on. If we can, we should try to get on their good side. I don't think that senior goes around picking fights or being unreasonable, that was Ancestor Wuhan's new game plan. If Kunlun Holy Land was kidnapping so many alchemists, that meant they'd be stepping into the spotlight sooner or later. And with an immortal emperor calling the shots. The strength of Kunlun Holy Land spoke for itself. The discussion among the three families shifted from revenge to figuring out how to make peace with Kunlun Holy Land. The bounty and kill order from Ziwei Holy Land was revoked. No more shouting and screaming like a few days ago. This move surprised many outsiders. 2 elders died, so Ziwei Holy Land issues a death warrant, and then cancels it after a few days. They weren't gonna pursue it. Unthinkable. Nobody gets away with messing with a holy land. This was a first. What the heck happened to make Ziwei Holy Land do a complete 180? This question had everyone buzzing with theories. I heard the murderer was Holy Master Ziwei's old buddy. Why would they be killing each other? Nah, I heard the murderer was punished and is working as a janitor in Ziwei Holy Land to pay for his crimes. My friend told me a haughty elder from Ziwei Holy Land fell for the young man in white and asked him to warm her bed before calling off the fatwa. That the rumors spiraled out of control, each one wilder than the last. Someone even claimed the kid in white was Holy Lord Ziwei's secret love child. While Central China was losing its mind over this juicy gossip, Su Jian was using every teleportation trick in the book to get to the Luoyue realm in the Dongxing continent. Back in the Falling Moon realm, Su Jian felt a rush of emotion. It hadn't been that long, but his life had been turned upside down. He used to be a nobody with zero potential, mocked and humiliated by everyone. Now he was a direct disciple of Kunlun Holy Land, a high-status, super genius with a future brighter than the sun. After wandering around the city, Su Jian ended up at an inn owned by his enemy. The bloody revenge was about to begin. Chapter 76 Liquidation 1 by 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Su Jian strode into a city inn and snagged the best table. Now that he was a golden core stage powerhouse, he picked up on whispers from every direction. Did you hear? That Mr. Yu raped another girl and beat her to death. Her parents kneeled outside the Yu mansion, begging, and they got beaten to death too. That's just the Yu family's MO. They get away with murder. Who gives the Yu family their power? Half the businesses in this city belong to them. Shoo. Shut up. You know the Yu family owns this inn, right? You wanna die, don't drag me down with you. Realizing the Yu family owned the place, the gossips clamped their mouths shut, filled with regret. They should have kept their traps shut. Hopefully, the staff hadn't noticed them. Unfortunately, the inn had hidden enforcers tasked with security and sniffing out any anti-Yu family chatter. While they secretly prayed, a powerful aura suddenly slammed down on the entire inn. A savage voice boomed, "Gossipin' in my Yu family's inn, are ya?" Yu Hao hasn't seen such a ballsy bunch in a long time. A man who called himself Yu Hao appeared on the second-floor balcony, glaring at the jabbering guests. Everyone froze, recognizing the angry face and the name, Yu Hao. The gossips completely panicked. Yu Hao was a heavy hitter in the Yu family, known for his ruthlessness. He'd reached the 5th level of the Golden Core stage. He held a high rank in the family. To help them take over territory, he'd single-handedly wiped out several masters from rival families, earning a fearsome reputation. His presence meant blood was about to spill. It's Yu Hao. Oh, crap. Master Yu Hao, it was a misunderstanding. Let us explain. Explain nothing. Get outta here. You wanna die? The gossips were too terrified to speak. Desperate, they bolted for the door, trying to escape. Yu Hao's eyes turned glacial. He leaped into the air, turning into a streak of light as he gave chase. Barely a dozen breaths later, he returned, dripping with blood. Everyone watched him pass, wide-eyed with fear, like they were staring at a god of death. Su Jian's expression was grim. He'd heard of Yu Hao. He'd committed countless atrocities for the Yu family, earning a well-deserved bad reputation. But you can't make fun of the poor, but you can enjoy those sex workers. If you're cruel and vicious enough, you can live large, but if you're just honest and obedient, you'll only die miserably. Just like Su Jian's parents. Thinking of their deaths, Su Jian's heart twisted in pain, like a giant hand squeezing it tight. To earn extra cash, his parents had taken odd jobs for the Yu family, but within 2 weeks, they were dead. Apparently, a falling leaf had landed on the eldest Yu son's brand new shoes while they were sweeping. The son flew into a rage, slapped them both dead, and had their bodies dumped in a corner of the city. By the time Su Jian arrived, their corpses were stiff. If kind strangers hadn't helped him find a burial spot, the teenage Su Jian wouldn't have known what to do. The memory flashed in his mind, fueling Su Jian's murderous intent. The Yu family, this cancer. They had to be destroyed. Not just for revenge, but for all the innocent people they'd oppressed and murdered. Su Jian took a deep breath, forcing himself to calm down. He'd take down the Yu family piece by piece, starting with this inn. "Sir, what can I get for you?" A waiter appeared, menu in hand. Bowing obsequiously, Su Jian snatched the menu and tossed it aside without looking. "Got any chicken and mushroom stew?" The waiter smirked. "Sir, that's peasant food." This is a high-class establishment. The implication was clear. They didn't serve cheap, low-end grub. Su Jian grinned. "None of that, huh? Okay, bring me some tofu buns, the sweet kind." The waiter shook his head. "Sir, we don't carry those, either. Tofu buns are street vendor fare." "Low-end, you say?" "Fine. Give me the high-end stuff. I want silver feather white swallow's nest, North Sea thunder eel's belly, Central China peach blossom wine, and deep sea dragon braised claws." Su Jian rattled off the absurd order with a sneer. The waiter's face drained. "Silver feather white swallow. Those birds nested on sheer cliffs. Finding their nests was next to impossible. Even if you knew where one was, you'd need serious strength to get to it. North Sea thunder eel. That was a monster that lived in the North Sea, thousands of miles away. And the deep sea dark dragon was even worse. Who would dare hunt one for food? The Central China peach blossom wine was the biggest joke of all. It was rumored that only the highest-ranking officials were worthy of tasting it. Who were these low-level minions? They couldn't even get a whiff of it. The waiter glared at Su Jian, wondering if he was looking for trouble. Su Jian decided to stop the charade. He ordered the most expensive set meal and announced loudly, "Get your prettiest girl in here to drink with me." The waiter's scowl vanished. Jackpot. He was about to make a killing. "Girls, come on up and give the gentleman a look." Dozens of gorgeous women paraded in front of Su Jian. Su Jian randomly picked a girl named Suehua. Suehua eagerly served him wine and food, being overly attentive, even sitting on his lap and rubbing his hands. The other guests watched with envy. Suehua's services came at a steep price. A meal that cost a few coins could run 300 if she was involved. The girls had special talents to keep their clients happy, but before he could finish half his wine, Su Jian pushed Suehua away, yelling, "You got bad breath. I can't stand people with bad breath. Get lost." Suehua sadly left the scene, replaced by a girl named Dongmei. Dongmei was a natural. She called him Big Brother every chance she got, making him feel good. She started getting a little handsy. Just as Dongmei was about to initiate more intimate contact, Su Jian wiped his mouth, shoved her away, and strode downstairs. The other guests stared in surprise, confused by his behavior. Hey, hey. I don't think the gentleman paid his bill," the waiter called out, blocking Su Jian's path. Su Jian hiccuped, looking confused. "Pay? What money?" The waiter smiled, assuming he was drunk. Dongmei's service, of course. The meal was only 20 spirit stones, but with Dongmei, it was 300. Just when everyone expected Su Jian to pay up, he straightened his neck and declared, "I traded green flowers for Dongmei. What should I pay for it?" Chapter 77, One Sword, Eradicate the Root. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I'm trading these winter plums for your green flower, so how much do I owe you? Su Jian's question left everyone in the inn scratching their heads. The waiter was about to blow a fuse, but the words stopped him cold. Still, something felt off. "But, you didn't actually pay Cuihua anything, did you?" Su Jian scoffed. "I haven't even been with Cuihua yet. Why would I pay up front?" "Wait, what?" The waiter looked like he'd been poleaxed, completely lost. The other customers put down their chopsticks and mugs, even shooing away the barmaid some of them had been cozying up to. They were starting to overthink this. "Hold on, he's got a point. If Cuihua hasn't delivered the goods yet, why pay? He swapped Dongmei for green flowers, so maybe he doesn't have to. Something doesn't quite add up, but Dongmei is working for him." The riddle had the entire inn in knots. Everyone was doing mental gymnastics trying to sort it out. The waiter was totally lost. He traded Dongmei for Cuihua, and he didn't buy Cuihua, so what's the catch? Who's supposed to be paying whom? The waiter was spiraling. If the guy was trying to skip out on the bill, that was easy, you just beat him senseless, but now it seemed like there was no reason for the man to pay. What in the world is going on here? What's the hold-up? You people running a business or what? The manager had heard the commotion and came storming over. The waiter, seeing a lifeline, dragged the manager over and ran through the whole crazy story again. The manager listened, then just rubbed his temples, looking even more confused. "You guys figure it out," Su Jian said with a grin. "Hold on a sec. I've got it. Okay, maybe you shouldn't be paying, but you're not going anywhere." The manager had never run into anything like this before, but he knew Su Jian was the problem. Nobody was leaving until they cracked the code. "Oh, really? You think you can stop me?" Su Jian sneered. Realizing Su Jian wasn't backing down, the manager got tough. "Mister, if you start messing with us, it's gonna make things difficult." "Difficult? Then don't bother." With one hand, Su Jian flipped the table over, sending drinks and dishes flying. The inn erupted into chaos, and the bouncers piled out to surround Su Jian. "I see what this is. You came here looking for trouble, right? All right then, no more talk. You're not leaving this place alive." At the manager's signal, the bouncers charged, ready to take Su Jian out. Nobody messed with the Yu family's territory. "Is that all you've got?" Su Jian didn't even glance at the oncoming rush. With a flash, a long sword materialized in his hand. Clang, star, the sharp ring of steel filled the air as a wave of sword energy swept out. Heads went tumbling. Spurt, star, gouts of blood rained down, and the reek of iron filled the room. The sudden violence sent the inn into a panic, and the more faint-hearted made a run for it. Many were stunned that the young man would dare to kill in a Yu family inn. What gall! He's toast. You can't mess with the Yu family and get away with it. Must be from out of town. No local would be dumb enough to not know the Yu family's reach around here. I bet he thinks he's hot stuff. Probably one of those young punks who think they're invincible, showing off wherever they go. Most of the guests stood back, not wanting to get involved. As far as they were concerned, Su Jian had signed his own death warrant. Nobody crossed the Yu family and lived, they would watch him die. You dare kill members of my Yu family? You're a dead man. The manager spat, seeing Su Jian fight back. In the city, the Yu family had a notoriously nasty reputation. People trembled and groveled when they heard the name. No one fought back. But as soon as the words were out of his mouth, Su Jian raised his sword and lopped off his head. The severed head bounced across the floor, eyes wide with disbelief. The manager couldn't believe that Su Jian had dared to draw a sword on him. Whoa! The sight sent even more people scrambling for cover, hoping they wouldn't be mistaken for an accomplice. Brutal. He's gone off the deep end. I think he just has a vendetta against the Yu family. Even the manager is dead. The Yu family is gonna lose it. Many faces paled at the thought of the Yu family's inevitable rage. This young man was about to cause a firestorm and it was going to end badly for him. After butchering a dozen people, Su Jian didn't rush to leave. He simply stood there, waiting. Sure enough, a moment later, a wave of killing intent rolled in and shot straight to the second floor of the inn. It was Yu Hao. Yu Hao stared at the carnage, hardly believing someone had the nerve to commit murder in his territory. Without a word, he drew his sword and slashed a crescent of light at Su Jian. Yu Hao's strength was legendary. Everyone expected Su Jian to fall as a master of the Golden Core stage. Yu Hao had exceptional power. His swordsmanship was vicious, and he wielded a high-grade weapon to maximize his strikes. With just a few cuts of his blade, those who'd been cowering were already trembling. Facing Yu Hao, they wouldn't last 3 seconds before being hacked to pieces. That's Yu Hao's Mad Dragon style. A top-tier sword art with terrifying force. With that technique and his sword, Yu Hao has carved a path of death. Today, he adds another name to the list. Those watching recognized Yu Hao's technique and quaked with fear. The razor-sharp energy rushed toward Su Jian, ready to cut him in two, but Su Jian simply raised his sword and thrust. The light became a cold streak, pierced through the heavy force, a meteor, striking true, and speared Yu Hao right through the forehead. Yu Hao's eyes went wide with horror and disbelief. The man had just used a single stroke and Yu Hao's life was snuffed out, and his corpse dropped to the floor. In his final moment, he couldn't believe he'd been killed with a single attack. Shoei. Su Jian sheathed his sword dismissively. He walked through the inn, wiping out every last one of the inn staff. Satisfied that he hadn't missed anyone, he set off at a run for the Yu family's stronghold. Chapter 78 Massacre. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Su Jian vanished down the street, the terrified guests hiding in the inn cautiously emerged. The once lavish inn was now a blood-soaked mess, littered with corpses. Many were hacked to pieces with clean sword strokes. It was a scene straight out of hell. Everyone's dead, all dead. Bodies everywhere. Even Yu Hao's gone. Too scary. Let's get out of here. We'll be next. The guests bolted from the inn, panic-stricken, their faces white with fear. They'd witnessed the Yu family massacre firsthand. People outside had heard the commotion and smelled the blood, but nobody dared to investigate. Only after confirming it was safe did they venture inside, where they were met by the grisly sight of bodies strewn across the floor. The blood had pooled in the low spots. Who was that guy? How's he so strong? I found Yu Hao's body. What? Yu Hao's dead. Well, duh. If Yu Hao was alive, would that kid have gotten away? But Yu Hao was a 5th-level Golden Core master. How could he be killed? Someone must be stronger. The world's changing. Things are different now. That kid's heading for the Yu family. That everyone realized the Yu family was about to face a killing machine, but who would win, this vengeful killer or the Yu family? Only time would tell. I hope that kid makes it. He's a hero. Someone suddenly voiced their concern for Su Jian. Hearing such treasonous words, the others backed away in fear, afraid of the Yu family's retribution. But wait a minute, weren't all the Yu family members here dead? What were they afraid of? The Yu family's been asking for it for years. It was only a matter of time. Even if that kid can't wipe them out completely, taking down a few of them is a win. But the Yu family has so many experts. He's walking into a death trap. He's probably already accepted his fate. He's a hero. All we can do is light a few extra incense sticks for him after he's gone. No one believed Su Jian stood a chance against the Yu family. Killing Yu Hao showed he was tough, but it didn't mean he could take on the whole Yu family. Still, many people started heading towards the Yu family mansion, eager to see if the young man could stir up some trouble. Meanwhile, in the Yu family mansion, the eldest son was lounging on a bed with women, lost in pleasure. Time to head out. Heard there's a fair-skinned beauty in the east of the city. Bring her back and pamper her, ha ha ha. that the eldest son of the Yu family rose from the soft bed, and exited the room with a few guards. Getting bored at home, he would go out and find something new, then discard it when he was done with it. To him, the people were dirt and it was their privilege to be favored by him. Anyone who disagreed would be beaten to death on the spot. Damn it, that old couple couldn't even sweep the floor right last month, getting fallen leaves on my new shoes and making them unwearable. That the eldest son of the Yu family was still cursing. His new shoes were actually clean, but he just wanted an excuse to kill someone to relieve his boredom. The old couple had simply been in the wrong place at the wrong time, not far from the gate. The eldest son of the Yu family noticed a young man with an intense aura walking towards him, completely ignoring his presence. This arrogant attitude instantly irritated the Yu family's young master. How dare anyone in this city disrespect him, the eldest son of the Yu family? Unforgivable. You two, go break his legs and tell him to watch where he's going. Oh, make it quick, so he doesn't suffer too much. The eldest son of the Yu family ordered his 2 guards. The guards nodded, used to carrying out such orders. Killing and beating people was second nature to them. They enjoyed seeing others grovel and cry, reveling in their power over people's lives. Little did they know, they were about to meet a killing machine of their own. Hey, kid. The 2 guards approached Su Jian, pointed at him, and prepared to give him a tongue lashing, but before they could finish, Su Jian's eyes flashed with cold light. He formed a sword shape with his index and middle fingers and unleashed a burst of sword energy. The sharp energy sliced through the air, severing their wrists and slashing across their necks in an instant. Boom! Thud! The first sound was the sound of heads hitting the ground. The second was the dull sound of bodies falling. The Yu family's son, waiting for the show to begin, saw his bodyguards killed, and his face twisted with rage. How dare someone kill his men right in front of him? Did they have a death wish? You think you can get away with this? Don't you know I'm the eldest son of the Yu family? Messing with my people is like slapping me in the face. Today, I'm taking your legs and your life. That the eldest son of the Yu family roared, and a powerful aura erupted from his body, revealing his cultivation level to be at the 8th level of the foundation building stage. While his talent was poor, he had grown up surrounded by rare and valuable resources. Even a pig could reach the foundation building stage with that kind of advantage. This was no pushover. His strength rivaled some of the best disciples from smaller sects. Kneel down and beg for mercy, and I might spare your life. Be smart about this. That the eldest son of the Yu family, radiating power, stepped closer to Su Jian, trying to intimidate him into kneeling, but the show of strength seemed laughable to Su Jian. 8th level of foundation building? How pathetic. Yu Hao, at the 5th level of the golden core stage, had been killed with a single blow. Kneel. Had this guy listened to too many wuxia stories and thought he was a main character? Su Jian walked towards the eldest son of the Yu family, his voice cold. I won't let you die so easily. I'm going to make you watch your entire family get wiped out. Chapter 79 7 Stars and 8 Hexagrams Sword Formation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You think killing him with 1 sword strike is enough? That's letting him off way too easy. For a piece of trash like him, Su Jian needed to inflict the most excruciating pain imaginable. Only then would he atone for murdering Su Jian's parents. And all the other people the Yu family had killed. But hearing Su Jian's words, the eldest Yu son just burst out laughing like he'd heard the funniest joke of his life. Ha ha ha, you. I can take on golden core cultivators at the 8th level of foundation establishment. You think you're some kind of chosen one or something? Convinced Su Jian was a dead man, the eldest Yu son decided to end it with 1 strike. No need to let some nobody ruin his day. White Light Holy Hand. The eldest son unleashed one of his signature palm techniques. The White Light Holy Hand was a high-level technique only direct descendants like him were privileged enough to learn. Legend had it, mastered fully, it could rival even king-level spells. A barrage of palm strikes wreathed in blinding white light hurtled toward Su Jian's face, radiating intense pressure and destructive force. The eldest Yu son was supremely confident he could squash this bug with a single blow. Su Jian didn't even flinch. He didn't dodge, didn't block, just stood there and let the full force of the attack wash over him. In an instant, Su Jian was engulfed in a blinding white cloud, seemingly obliterated. Haha, trying to bluff me? Barking like a dog when you've got no teeth? Think you're... The eldest Yu Sun cackled, puffed up with pride at his own power, but the laughter died in his throat. Emerging from the dissipating white light, a figure stood unscathed. You, how are you okay? That the eldest Yu Sun's voice cracked, surprise ringing in his tone for the first time. Su Jian stood spotless, not a speck of dust on him, let alone reduced to ashes. TSK. With your amateur skills, you dare brag about taking on golden core cultivators? You couldn't even handle someone in the same realm, you weakling. Su Jian sneered. He guessed the Yu family masters probably took it easy on him during training, giving him this delusional idea that he was some prodigy who could punch above his weight. Impossible. You must have used some trick to deflect the damage. There's no way you're completely unharmed. Unable to accept reality, the eldest Yu Sun's face twisted into a snarl as he prepared to attack again, but Su Jian simply raised a hand and unleashed a blast of sword energy that split into multiple blades in the air, instantly severing all four of the Yu Sun's limbs. Thump. Completely helpless, the eldest Yu Sun crashed to the ground, writhing in a pool of his own blood, howling in agony. You actually... The eldest Yu Sun was terrified and enraged, shrieking uncontrollably. He, born with a silver spoon in his mouth, never imagined he'd end up with his limbs hacked off. This wasn't just a setback, it was a complete and utter downfall. Su Jian found the screaming grating, so he flicked out a burst of energy, sealing the Yu Sun's body and silencing his cries. The glowing orb containing the Yu Sun floated before Su Jian. A chilling smile spread across Su Jian's face as he said, "Now, you get to watch me dismantle your Yu family." With that, he hurled the orb high into the sky, giving the eldest Yu Sun a front row seat to the carnage. Isn't that the eldest son of the Yu family? What happened to his arms and legs? Later arrivals, drawn by the commotion, gawked at the orb suspended in the air. The eldest Yu Sun, known for his arrogance and bullying, was universally resented. Nobody dared to cross him. Who would have thought he'd end up like this one day? How long has it been? Is the eldest son of the Yu family already done for? That was fast. That young hero is the real deal. Whether he shakes the Yu family to its core or not, he definitely took down their arrogant son. I love it. A true hero, ridding us of this menace. A huge crowd had gathered, all drawn by the commotion. They were buzzing with excitement. Seeing the Yu family scion in such a state, they wanted to cheer and applaud. Their admiration for Su Jian soared. Just then, someone pointed toward Su Jian and shouted, "Look, he's charging straight into the Yu family compound." Everyone turned to see Su Jian brandishing a long sword. The air crackled with palpable sword energy. Everywhere he went, a constant hum of steel resonated. Any who strayed too close would be cut to pieces. Someone's coming. Someone's forcing their way into the Yu residence. Where did this punk get the nerve to start killing people here? Call for backup. This guy is ruthless. We're no match for him. He's gotta be at least golden core level. Yu family guards fell left and right, their bodies mangled beyond recognition. Su Jian was a god of death, leaving a trail of blood in his wake. The once fierce guards were so terrified they dared not stand in his path. To do so meant certain death. The Yu estate was vast. Su Jian had slaughtered hundreds in the front courtyard before word reached the inner sections. Yu family masters emerged, one after another. Seeing the front yard transformed into a bloodbath, they were consumed with rage. It had been years since anyone dared to storm the Yu family gates and start killing. This was unprecedented. Kid, who sent you? Tell us who's backing you, and we might spare your life. A middle-aged man roared, his face contorted with anger. At the same time, several golden core masters surrounded Su Jian, their powerful auras converging to form an invisible cage, trapping him. My backer. You're not worthy to know. Su Jian, seemingly oblivious to the danger, remained calm, even smiling. He came from Kunlun Holy Land. How could this backwater Yu family possibly understand? Did the Yu family even deserve to know? Please. Insolent. Think you can resist us? Since you won't talk, we'll break your limbs first, then destroy your dantian and just search your soul. The Yu family golden core master bellowed and ordered the others to form a formation. This guy's a little strange. Don't engage him one-on-one. Stick together. Led by this Yu family golden core master, several of them channeled their immense spiritual power, weaving a complex web to form a massive formation. Trapped inside, Su Jian was like a fish on a cutting board, completely helpless. This is the 7 stars and 8 trigrams sword formation. Its power is boundless, its transformations endless. Once you're caught inside, all that's left is waiting for death. Seeing Su Jian ensnared by the 7 stars and 8 trigram sword formation without a struggle, the Yu family masters broke into unrestrained laughter. They thought he was a formidable foe, but he turned out to be just some hot-headed kid with a little power. Did he not even realize he was trapped in the formation? With so little experience and understanding, how dare he come to the Yu family to cause trouble? Chapter 80. The Yu family is destroyed. Who else? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Kill. At the Yu family's golden core master's command, several other masters activated the formation together. The 7-star Bagua formation blazed to life, unleashing a storm of sword energy from every direction, all aimed at Su Jian. Trapped in this formation, even a powerful fighter like Yu Hao, at the 5th level of the golden core stage, would meet a miserable end, let alone someone who just entered the golden core stage. The entire area inside the 7-star Bagua sword formation became a swirling vortex of razor-sharp sword energy, flashing with an eerie starlight. The raw killing power of the formation sent shivers down the spines of the city residents hiding far away. Oh man, it's the 7-star Bagua sword formation. Legend has it that the previous head of the Yu family found it in an ancient tomb. It's crazy powerful. A formation like that, set up by golden core masters, is 10 times more dangerous. That kid's in deep trouble. Not necessarily. He iced Yu Hao, so he's got some serious skills. Maybe he'll pull off a miracle. Miracles? Get real. He's toast. People hunkered down in every corner of the city, worried sick for Su Jian. Even if he survived that sword formation, he'd be screwed up. But what they didn't know was that Su Jian, being hammered by that intense sword energy, wasn't just unharmed, he was chillin'. Not bad. But I can see the chink in its armor. Su Jian was born with a killer sword bone, making him ultra-sensitive to sword techniques and secret maneuvers. He zeroed in on a weak spot and blasted a sword energy, instantly blowing the whole formation apart. Boom! The sword array detonated, and the exploding sword energy went wild, shooting off in every direction. Crap! The sword formation's down. One of the golden core masters yelled in shock. A bunch of them set that up, so how could one dude break it? That kid's got some kind of crazy weapon on him. Otherwise, there's no way he could have busted the formation. Another golden core master yelled, blocking the flying debris, his eyes flashing with greed. Kill him. Don't give him a chance to breathe. The masters realized Su Jian was a threat, so they ganged up on him, planning to end it fast. Dwan my divine palm. 4 core seals. Breaking Waves Demon Slayer. The onslaught of attacks rained down on Su Jian, thick with murderous intent. Su Jian, barely in the golden core stage, didn't even flinch back when he was just a foundation establishment dude. He took down a 5th level golden core master. Now that he's leveled up, handling these 5 guys at once was nothing. Tiangang Shadow Sword. Su Jian flashed his sword, filling the sky with countless shimmering afterimages. The dominating sword light sliced through the attacks like butter and struck back at their vital spots. At first, they managed to block a few, but slowly, they realized the swords were coming from everywhere, impossible to defend against. Deep gashes opened up on their bodies. 9 heavens and 10 earths, one sword of annihilation. Su Jian's swordsmanship changed. The dazzling display stopped, focusing into a single, ultimate strike. The sword flashed through the air. They were too slow, and two of the golden core masters got skewered between the eyes. One strike, two dead. A jaw-dropping feat. Dead. The remaining golden core masters were freaking out. Their buddies dropped without even putting up a fight. They stared at Su Jian with pure terror. Where did this guy come from? How could he be so strong when he's only at the first level of the golden core stage? And that swordsmanship. It's deadly, drawing blood the second he draws his sword. The guy's dripping with sword intent. He has to be from some famous clan, trained to the hilt. How else could he get this good so young? If they kept fighting, they knew they were done for. I hope the head of the family gets back soon, or we're toast. All they could do now was stall. Once the family head and the others return, it's game over. No matter how tough this kid is, he's no match for a nascent soul master. Killing a golden core scrub would be child's play. Hold up. Can't we talk this over? One of the golden core masters shouted desperately. The only response he got was a blinding sword light, cutting across the sky. Totally boss. Slash. The sword was so fast, it was like it skipped through time. 1 second it was miles away, the next it was on top of him, impossible to dodge. He didn't even have time to lift his hands. Thud. The golden core monk dropped from the sky, a bloody hole in his forehead, his eyes wide with disbelief. All those years of training, and he couldn't even block a young kid's sword. And you? Su Jian showed no mercy. Showing compassion to these guys was like sticking a knife in the backs of all their victims. His sword became a soul-snatching chain. One by one, the masters fell into pools of blood. He stood in the air, his sword pointing down, his clothes and hair blowing in the wind. The distant onlookers were stunned. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. They knew the legend of the 7-star Bagua sword formation, that it had once trapped and killed a golden core master at his peak. The Yu family used it to grab territory and resources. But that young man just strolled through it. His swordsmanship was practically divine. Every strike was the laws of nature, infused with some crazy Taoist mojo. Sometimes it was like a plain sword, but nobody could dodge it. In half a day, the Yu family's place ran red with blood, and a bunch of golden core masters were bleeding out. The air reeked of death, so bad you could smell it streets away. Nobody could imagine the horror inside the Yu family mansion, but nobody felt sorry for them. They were cheering, some were even crying tears of joy. The Yu family had bullied them for so long. They wanted to risk it all and take the Yu family down with them, but they knew it wouldn't do any good. But now, Su Jian gave them hope, the sweet taste of revenge.